Hi, everyone. This week we are reviewing multiplication and division. Just a real quick review. I think the majority of you got it, understood it, but I really just one more time, just want to go over it and make sure that you understand. So I've got a little slideshow. We'll just review it real quick. And remember, you can watch this over and over and over and over again if you still don't understand. But I think I really do think all of you got this, but I just want to spend this week reviewing. Next week, I have an end of year assessment that I'm going to give you all week to take. There you are. I'm going to give you all week to take this. This is next week, and it's the only thing I'm going to give you. We're starting to slow down. It's May, and in May we have so many things usually going on that I don't cover that much, and I finish up. I am right on time where I am almost every single year. So we're doing really good. So this week, I'm just going to review these two major fourth grade concepts, and hopefully all of you will go, yep, got it. I know what's going on. I have two mini assessments that I want you to take just so that I know that you know how to do it. Okay. But that's about it. So that's what's going to happen this week. All right, let's see. Next slide. Oh, air hugs, guys. I miss you so much. I miss being in the classroom. But anyway, here we go. So first off, what are we doing that was my sister. I don't know what she's doing. What are we doing when we multiply? Well, you got to remember multiplication is showing groups of. Okay, 5 groups of 4, it would be 20, 5 times 4. So, and there's so many different ways that you can solve these problems. And I've picked a few, and I did not teach y'all the traditional algorithm, which is the way that I learned, your parents learned, your grandparents learned. You're more than welcome to do it that way if you learn how to do it. But so if you want to show 16 groups of 32, if you remember in class, those of you who have me in class, you can solve this by doing it in your head, which is amazing to me, or on a ratio chart. And we did these for our number talks. So like one group of 32 is obviously 32. 2 groups of 32 would then be 64. All we had to do is double it. 10 groups would be 320. So now we have 10 groups of 32 is 320. And we all know that when you multiply something by 10, you just add that 0. It just goes up one place value. So 320. If I need to find out, I want to get to 15 groups of 32. So I have to find how many are in 5. Well, I don't know what 5 times 32 is, but I do know what half of 10 is, and that's 160. So 5 groups of 32 is 160, and then I can put it all together. I have a 10, a 5, and a 1, so I can find 16 groups of 32 is 512. May sound a little complicated, but it works. But that's one way that we did for our number talks a lot this year. My favorite way to find double-digit multiplication, to solve double-digit multiplication, is using an area model, or we called it the box method because it looks like a box. Sometimes I call it a window pane, but you just have a box with 4 divisions in it, and you would write 16 any side, but you'd break it up into 10 and 6 and the 10s and 1s, and then 32 would be 30 and 2, and then you multiply. Some people had problems what to multiply together. Well, you multiply what's on this side to what's up here. So 30 times 10 would be 300, and then the 30 would be right here. So 30 times 6 would be 180. And then you come down here, 2 times 10 would be 20, and then 2 times 6 would be 12. And you add it all up, and you get 512. That is the way we were really, really good at multiplying using this box method this year. And so there's that that we used. The next method we used, which y'all did not like quite as much as the box method, but it's exactly the same thing. I picked another problem this time, 75 times 23, and we have 70 plus 5, and we broke it into 20 plus 3, just like what you would do on the box method. And then partial products is what we called the bow tie method. If you can draw a bow tie, then you've multiplied them all together. So what I did was multiplied 7 times 20 and got 1,400. And then I did 5 times 20 and got 100. And then I did 70 times 3 and got 210. And then I did 5 times 3 and got 15. And then you add it all up together. 1,400 plus 100 plus 210 plus 15, and I got 1,725. So that's partial products. So that was the other method that we used. The next, so on your test this week, on your little mini assessment I gave you, you can use any of these methods that I'm showing you to solve these problems. But the one thing I did neglect to mention is the 2 or 3 digit by 1 digit. And we were all really good at that, but here we have 635 times 5. Using the box method, you would split it up between 630 and 5 and multiply all those by 5. 5 times 600 is 3,000, 5 times 30, 150, and 5 times 5, 25, and you add it all up, and you should get this. Or I did go ahead and teach y'all how to do this the traditional way. So we multiplied 5 times 5, and you would get 25, right? And then 5 times 3 is 15, and you just add that 2. So that would be 17, and you carry the 1. And then 5 times 6 would be 30, plus 1 would be 31. So you should get 3,175. I know it's not neat, but basically what you're doing with the traditional algorithm, the traditional way of multiplying 2 or 3 digit by 1 digit is you're taking 5 and you're multiplying it by 5, 3, and then 6. And you're carrying the other number at the top and adding it together. So that is our short and quick multiplication review. The next thing I want to talk about this week is division. Just going quickly over what division is. So when we divide, you need to know all the vocabulary. You need to know that the quotient is an answer. The dividend is the bigger number that's under the 7. It's what is being divided. The divisor, what you're dividing by, which is usually the smaller number, and it's outside of the 7, or I used to call it a house when I did a traditional way. The remainder is just what is left over, what you can't take any more groups out of. It's just there, and it's always smaller than the divisor. So you need to remember that division is, I'm trying to move my face, that division is just figuring out how many groups can be taken out of that bigger number. It can be written in different ways. I put down here, one of my pet peeves is when a student reads the divisor first. The dividend, the bigger number, is read first, no matter which way it's said. So it's 526 divided by 3. Or how many groups of 3 can be taken out of 526. Just remember. So that's division using the big 7. Let's keep going. I want to review the steps for you. You have to first draw your big 7, write the dividend under the 7, which is the bigger number, write the smaller number outside the 7, start with what you know, take out groups of 10, 100, 1,000, and you keep taking out until you are finished, until there's nothing left, the problem. So let's practice one of these, and I'm going to draw, let's see, I'm going to draw first step, right, is draw your 7. So I'm going to draw my 7. And then we are going to pick a few numbers. You know how I just had you yell out numbers? So let's do, let's do 673. I just made up a number. It's nothing major. And I'm going to divide it all by 3. Okay, so next thing, we're going to want to take out groups of 3, and we need to start with tens or hundreds or thousands. Well, 10 threes is just 30. Look how big my number is. So I could take out 100 threes, which would be 673. Ooh, remember our think charts? Remember our thinks? So I did like 3 times 100, and then I did 3 times 200. Ooh, and look, and when I wrote out my multiplication problems, I know that 200 groups of 3 is 600. Does that get me really close? It gets me really close. So I'm going to start with 200. So 3 times 200, and then you write down how many groups, how many you're taking out, which would be 600. And then I'm left with 73. Well, I can't take 100 threes out of that, but I could add to my think chart over here and do 3 times 10 would be 30, but I can go bigger than that. So let's try 3 times 20. That's pretty close. I'm going to say 3 times 20 because I know that is 60. And then I'm going to subtract. Ooh, don't forget to write your 20 over here. And I am left with 13. So how many threes go into 13? Well, when you get down to just your multiplication facts, it's pretty easy. Well, that's 4, because 3 times 4 is 12. And then I'm going to subtract. Don't forget to subtract. And I'm left with 1. So I have a remainder, and we just write remainders are 1. So it's 224, remainder 1. And you can write that up here. You can write it off to the side. 224, remainder 1. Pretty cool, huh? All right, that is it. That is how you divide. It was a quick tutorial. I know I have some on my YouTube page that you can watch. Besides this, if you don't remember any of this, but that is just a quick review of how we divided using the big 7. And I hope that you have a great week. And if you're still confused, then you can call me and we can go over a problem together. But that's about it. And I will hopefully see y'all soon. We'll talk to you later. Bye.